Welcome to New Beginnings. I'm Mark Archambault. You're listening to part 2 of Mike's story. Mike told us in part 1 that he had been clean and sober for just a few days. He had a prescription of Suboxone. He had gone through detox. He went to his first rehab, and he was kicked out within just a few minutes for smoking. Smoking cigarettes, that is. So he has some very interesting things to say about his road to recovery and how he had to fight for it. So God bless him and good for him. Please hit the like and subscribe button on this. Our message is one of healing and hope. My wife, Maquette, and I encourage you to share your story with us and the world. And remember, we are all just walking each other home. So here you go. Here's Mike.
I don't take the bus because that guy decides to go, all right, well, you don't have any rigs, but I'm still going to sit here next to you with all my dope. It's like, okay, I'm going to go. Yeah. So I leave and start walking. I end up walking to La Cañada, La Choya, somewhere in there. I know, something. So that's a long walk. Mm-hmm. I finally, and that's where my girlfriend at the time, the place where she was recovering from her thing. So I got to visit her, through the window because COVID and shit. So, knock on the window, hi. And I call my dad and I'm like, hey, can you come get me? He's like, why should I come get you? You blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hey, still didn't use. Like, it's a fucked up thing, but what are we going to do? Bring a cup, I'll pee in it. I didn't use. All they got from the rehab was that I left. I was like, no, they kicked me out. So I wait a week, 2 weeks. I'm calling the place. I'm like, can I get back in? I don't know what else to do. This is God doing for us what we can't do for ourselves, right? It's been 2 weeks. Now I'm out of Suboxone. Okay, here comes the hell. All right, this is the part where I should have done it like Cat. I was taking 16 milligrams, 22 milligrams a day of Suboxone, all right? Yeah, you know what? Fuck that. I'm almost out, but I'll be fine. Nobody tells you, by the way, everybody, Suboxone withdrawals are worse than heroin. Well, nobody said, oh, this is going to be worse than coming off heroin. Because they want to get, I don't know, this is just my view, my perspective on this is they want to get you on the government tit. Mm-hmm. This is why when you go to a methadone clinic, they keep upping your dose.
I'm glad that you said that.
I'm saying this.
Because I would have no street credibility by saying it, but that's everything I've seen.
I am saying this because this is what I see. This is what I've seen. If you're trying to stop doing something and this is a crutch and a taper, taper down, not up. If you're taking the up taper, then you may as well go back to using heroin because you're not trying to quit. I said it. I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop. That wasn't happening. It felt like I've never been stabbed, let alone been stabbed in the gut. But I've heard being shot in the gut, stabbed in the gut, any gut injury is like the worst pain. I have pretty good tolerance for pain. I've been hit with a lot of things, been hit by a lot of things, been hit by a lot of people. I've bled, a lot. I've got scars, things. I've ridden 3-wheelers through barbed wire fences. I've almost gotten decapitated by the shit. Maybe not almost because, but anyway, I got pretty good with pain. Not this pain. This was like, I could imagine somebody jabbing a knife into my belly and just turning it. Looking me in the eye while they did it, laughing. Hey, this is Suboxone. I went through 3 days of this after I had run out, and I'm like, this got to get better. Oh no, I still had 4 more days. The third day, I was like, I can't. This is bad. This is bad. But way worse than being dope sick. Any day of the week, all the time, better. Worse. God. And I said the magic words to my mom. I said, if I got to do another day of this, I'm going to kill myself. I can't. I didn't sign up for this. I will walk to the dope man's house. It's 22 miles as the crow flies. I will walk there like this. I said the magic words, let's go. So back to Sonora we went. On suicide watch this time. Once they got me stabilized and got me back on the Suboxone and everything, I was able to explain to them, and they're like, yeah, by the way. It's like, why didn't you tell me this to begin with? Maybe I would have done some different things, Mm-hmm. But they got me back on that, and I immediately started tapering. Immediately. They said, we're going to put you on 22. I said, great, I want 20. I said, great, I want 18. Whatever the next step down was, I think it was 18. Right. So we're going to put you on 22. I said, good, give me 18. Are you sure? I said, anything's going to be better than this. Mm-hmm. Right now. I've already done none for 3 days. Only give me 18. Did that, and I stayed on 18. I get out of Sonora after another 7 days. My dad's been looking, my sister's been looking, trying to find a rehab. I'm sitting there going through places on the computer and places that'll take the insurance that I have,
Sure.
and
I went through all that.
Right, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we take access, just not that access. I get a call from this place. Can I use the...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This guy from Granite Mountain, and it's a place in Prescott Valley. He's like, yeah, we've got a bed. And I was like, who are you? He's like, it's so-and-so from Granite Mountain Behavioral. And I said, I didn't call you. Like, how did you get my number? He's like, I don't know. I said, this day, I even asked him. I said, how did you... I don't know. Divine intervention? I don't know. I didn't get pregnant. So...
You're not that handsome.
Come on. I'm in his image.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, he's like, yeah, we got a bed, and and I said, great. When? And he's like, now. I was like, well, now's a little quick because you're 3 hours away. Yeah. So like my teleporter's broken. It's gonna take me a minute. No, he said, he said, if you tell me when, I will hold a bed for you.
Wow.
I said, perfect. Looked at my dad. Now, at this point in time, I don't have a license. I do have warrants for my arrest. I am not quite a human yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got to get a ride everywhere I go, like, hey, what about, I tell my dad, I was like, what about this? He's like, okay, when do you want to go? I said, okay, so we set it up for like 2 or 3 days from that point. So again, I could get, get my clothes washed and get some more clothes because I'd already pretty much outgrown everything that I was wearing when I went in.
Had an appetite.
Because I suddenly, I wasn't burning it all off on, and not eating. But,
right.
My diet when I was using, consisted steadily of all the milk I could steal from the store. COVID came around at exactly the right time because now you're required to wear a mask, and I had just gotten kicked out of both the stores, so I wasn't allowed into them because they had not quite caught me stealing, but they believed that I was stealing. Sure, but I was pretty good at what I did as far as being a shoplifter goes, which is not something to be proud of, unless you're a criminal, and well, I was, so I was. Anyway, so yeah, I was putting down 2 gallons of milk a day by myself. Cereal was the breakfast, dinner, lunch, brunch, and snack of champions. That was just what it was. It was what I ate, what I drank. I stole ice to keep my milk cold. That was what I did. Soda was a delicacy, and other than that, it was water.
Yeah. So, of course, once you get into rehab, they're not going to let you just go to the store and go shopping for more clothes.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the really cool thing about Granite Mountain is they're more of a self-sufficiency kind of retraining program because when you go there, you're living in a townhouse with 11 other guys on 2 halves townhouses. It's your responsibility to get your food. You get to go to the store once a week. They take everybody. Oh. Everybody piles in the druggie buggy. That's what we called the van. You get in the druggy buggy and we listen to YMCA or whatever. No, you know what? It's
scare me.
No, it was great. There was because it's a huge cross section of people. There's people from every walk of life is a drug addict. Like there is one somewhere.
Yeah, right.
So you've got people that have always been homeless, people that have never been homeless, and and we're all in the same place. We're all there for the same reason. Let's get better. Together. We're better. We're better together. Great memories, man, with all you guys, and hopefully you all get to hear this, man. I love you guys. You get your own groceries and everything. You got your own spot in the pantry. That's your food. That's your dinner. That's, Now, if there are some, they do provide dinner up there for the people that don't have any way to get their own food. From there, it's amazing because you go from being very selfish in your active addiction, you need to get enough dope to get yourself well and do what you need to do. And from there, if you have a little bit, you can help other people, help get them well. And half the time that's not the case because you're going to have to get well later after you're well because you're going to get unwell. That's how it works. Right. You go from being very selfish to like, hey man, you know what? We're all here together. You know what? You need something, I got you. And half of us are there with EBT cards. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you need something, I got you. You need something, I got you. And they would do the same for me. And we all were there to help each other. And it was awesome. We all had good days. We all had bad days. So I was there for 62 days. I stayed up there. I think it was about my 30th day, I decided, actually it was like my 27th day there, found out that Access was changing their rules and you're going to have to pay like $100 a week to stay from here on out because Access wasn't covering all the housing anymore. And I was like, oh, good, I'm out of here. I was like, it's not that I wanted to get out to go use. I didn't think that was a thing. I was having difficulties with one of the other guys in the house, and I wasn't looking at it the right way, and I didn't see why that was and what it was. And I was done. I was like, I'm done. Fuck this. And I called my dad, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here next week, so you come and get me. And he's like, why? What's going on? And I told him, and he's like, well, how many more weeks you want to stay? And I was like, shit.
Trapped like a rat.
Yeah, you got me. And then something happened. I think it was the next night. I had a great couple of groups or a great session with my therapist. I decided to pray on it, and something changed. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay another month. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stay another month. There's got to be something I'm missing. I think I'm missing something because I was too eager to leave. The funny thing is that the guys that run the show, basically the programs, the different groups that we do, and group facilitators and such. He's like, well, if you want to stay, okay, it's a 30-day. Technically, it's a 90-day program. They want you to explain at the end of every 30 days why you want to stay.
Sure.
So that they can kind of see where you are and see like if you're recognizing like what's going on, or if you're just playing the game to get some free room and board that's not jail for a while until you go back out. You know what I mean? He's like, write me this letter. I was like, hey, like I'm looking at this. I'm 44 years old at the time, and I'm looking at this dude. He's like 28, 31, and I'm like, you're gonna what? No, you're gonna ask me to write to you like you're my teacher or something? Like, no.
Yeah.
No, because and then it's like, okay, so I write this, dear, so to whom it may concern, I want to stay another month because it's good. I'm having fun learning stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? So, and thank you. The Mikey, right? So, and he opens the thing, and now you guys listen to this cannot see the face I'm making. Mark will know. He looks at me like, and
he was not amused,
right? Not at all. And I'm looking at him, both thumbs up, biggest grin, like Steve-O, right? Like, yeah, dude, And he's like, and he's from New York. So he's like, no, go write this again, do better. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Go.
Yeah.
That's all right. So I leave. I'm kind of pissed off because I didn't expect that, And again, it's difference a couple of months will make. You know what I mean? Because I thought that I was sharp then, And now I'm looking back going, wow, what an idiot. So I go and I'm like, and I start to write the letter again, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, if for nothing other than the $400 a month, they're not going to kick me out because then they're also getting the money from the insurance. I'm like, really?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, so the next time I see him, he goes, hey, did you get that written? And I looked at him and I said, really, dude? I said, no, because are you going to kick me out? And he's like, shit. I was like, cheers. Wow. Hey, started thinking. He's like, yeah, you got me. All right, cool. Everybody at that place. I'm not gonna throw names out because I didn't get permission from anybody.
Right.
Like every one of you guys, you are. Like every one of them was there. Every one of them was there to see that we got better. Every one of them was there to see that we were able to live our best life.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I'm forever indebted to them.
So by the time you get out, you're about 90 days clean?
Right at, actually, it was like 4 days after I left there, I got my 90 days. Okay. Now, we missed the good part here yet. So, right. I'm sorry. It's okay. I told you, I like to hear myself talk. So I started tapering about my 30th day. I decided, I'm like, okay, I'm staying 60 at least, and I want to be done with everything when I'm out of here. That way, if I got to go through it, which I already knew that I was going to go through it, coming off the Suboxone, but I was going to make it as easy on myself as possible. I just spent the last, 10, 12, 15 years, whatever the hell it is, making it as hard as I could on myself. So I'm going to take this moment to try and make it easy on myself. I start tapering. What I forgot was the pain from the withdrawal from the step follows by about a week. Okay, and I thought that with 4 weeks, and I got to go from, and I had already tapered down to like 12 at that point, and so I had to go from 12 to 8 to 4, and I was going to step 2 to 1 to 0. And then, the math worked out pretty well. I gave it 4 weeks. I forgot about the 1 week stagger. By the time I got to 1 and stepped to 0, I was hitting the pain from the 4.
Okay.
And it was already sucking from, the step. Ugh. So the last week I was there, I started tapering at week 2 in. So I was done at my second week before I left. All right? I don't know. Whatever the math is. I probably tapered too quickly. Yes. That's what I did wrong. However, I'm off of it. It doesn't matter. It's over. But I will tell you that it was bad. Even at going from 1 milligram to none milligram.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad.
That big of a difference?
Yeah, it sucked.
Wow.
It was.
So here you are with the knowledge that you are about to be done and walk out of there and begin your life, and you're still physically in pain.
Yeah, and I'm like 2 weeks from leaving, going from heroin to Suboxone, there wasn't a lot of, discomfort. Okay. It wasn't that bad. It sucked a little bit, but knowing what I know now, I would have just suffered through stopping doing heroin. I would have just been sick and then been done. Man, the Suboxone withdrawals, I'm sorry. Not everybody's the same, but for me, no. I would not do it. I would not do it again.
So what did you do when you got out?
So I went through the hell of detoxing with Suboxone. I had a week still before I was getting out of there, and I wasn't sick. I wasn't on Suboxone, so I was good. Mm-hmm. I was like, cool. I'm stable. I'm not hurting. I'm better. I didn't have to worry about doing it, because if I had to do that out here, I'd have gone back to using. It was literally 7 days of torture. At least for me, it was. Mm-hmm. Those of you that did go through it and don't have to go through that, God bless you. You're lucky. Yeah. Not everybody's the same. So, really cool thing. My last day there was October 22nd of 2020. I get a text 2-3 days before I'm out from my dad, and he's like, "Check it out, your new house." And I look, and it's a fifth wheel that he found in Tonto Basin. For nothing. I was like, "Hey, come get it." Okay, it's a roof. I've lived in worse places, dirt holes, sheds with no doors, other people's houses. So hey, it's my own roof. I'm pretty excited about it. He's like, "Yeah, we'll pick it up on our way back from picking you up." Oh wow! I'm like, all right. By the way, your son wants to know if he can come with me to get you. Now, I hadn't seen my son in 12 years.
Wow.
At this point. He's 14 now. And I hadn't seen him since he was 2. Seen him, spent time with him. Seen pictures, saw him in passing one time at the store, but deadbeat dad right here,
Yeah.
That was neat, he wanted to come and see me, and it was good to get to hang out with him. It was good to get to hang out with my dad, and then now I get to hang out with people that are genuinely happy to see me. They aren't there because of something that I can give them or something that I can get them. It's not just because they want something from me. It's because they want something for me. It's so far and away different than the places I've been, and it means a tremendous amount. One of the things that I did while I was up there that I didn't even touch on, and it's something that Maquette touched on, and she was saying, I think it was in her Meaning of Life talk, we're so scared to feel. Whatever it is that leads us into our active addiction, once we get there, we do a lot of things that we're just completely ashamed of. Now, maybe it's some trauma that happened to us that led us there. In my situation, that was the case. One of the things that Grand Mountain did, and still does, they do trauma therapy while you're there. You get a regular counselor, therapist, whatever you want to call it. You get a trauma therapist. That there's EMDR trauma therapy. There's somatic experience trauma therapy. I did the latter versus the former, the somatic experience. It's amazing. I thought it was voodoo bullshit when I first, when they first met this person. And they're like, yeah, do this, do that, through mindful movement and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is just no. Yeah. I don't even know, what you're, no. It's not, I don't have trauma. I don't have trauma on shit. You know, like, oh, I'm a tough guy, man. Trauma, shit, nah, man, I'm good. Yeah, except for that one thing, you know? And turns out that trauma is relative, okay? Trauma is based on your perspective. It's based on, it's like I said, it's completely relative. You know what? If you've never had a stubbed toe, and a stubbed toe is the worst thing you'll ever have, when you have a stubbed toe, it's going to be traumatic.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
A war veteran, okay, they've seen some shit. All right, and in a relative arena, right, my trauma is nothing compared to what their trauma is in the arena of life, right? Mm-hmm. I've never had to defend one of my friends who may not live if I don't defend him.
Right.
Like I hopefully I never have to go through that. And people that have to do that are going to have to do some things that are terrible, more than likely. And I can't speak on that. I don't know. I haven't had to do it. But I've been through some shit that to me is some shit. And it sucked. I've had a shitty wife. Like I've been in I've been in many shitty relationships. And it hasn't always been my fault, but it's been my fault plenty times. Okay? All these things, like, I gave up my daughter, because I did drugs. Like, there are things that are terrible that I didn't want to feel, that I didn't want to deal with. And, one thing I know is that you don't want to feel if you put some random, strange, potentially deadly chemical into your veins or into your body, and however you want to get it there, you're not going to feel. Wow. Either it's going to kill you so you never have to feel again, or you're going to have to do it again because now you've done something that you really don't want to think about that you did to get high to not feel. So it's a self-perpetuating problem. I guess in some ways, if you're lucky, it'll kill you, But in others, if you're lucky, you'll figure out how to go through it and move on, and then you can live again. The thing I learned is the only way to get through it is to go through it. People want to complain about how long the road is and how far the trip is. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Every step you take towards that destination is one step closer. So just start taking the steps. I had resigned myself to maybe getting told when one of my parents or one of my siblings dies. I had resigned myself to that. I'm going to die doing this, so my family can't have me around because it's too painful for them to watch me kill myself slowly. They don't, and they don't deserve to see me do this to myself. But in my mind, I wasn't worth being around them anyway. Maybe somebody will tell me, when my dad's gone. Maybe somebody will tell me when my mom's gone. Maybe somebody will tell me when my daughter gets married. Maybe somebody will tell me when my son graduates high school, goes to the military, gets married, does whatever he does. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe somebody will tell me those things, but it's better for them if I'm not around because they don't need to see this. The only legacy that I could, come up with that was a positive for my behavior for my kids was, hey, at least you know what not to do. That was fathering 101. That was the best parenting advice I could give my kids. There's a thing, I guess, it's called what imposter syndrome, something where if you make it through something, a drug addiction that very well could have killed me. And, I didn't talk about the time that I did a shot and went into anaphylactic shock and almost suffocated to death on my own tongue. That's a thing. That happened. I thought somebody did it to me on purpose. I thought somebody tried to kill me. Turns out that's not the case. Because what did I do when I got out of the hospital? I did more of the same shot because I was dope sick. Okay? This is the shit, the insanity, the things that we do because we don't want to feel bad or we just don't want to feel. So I can totally relate, and I know exactly what Maquette was saying when she was talking about her son.
How's your relationship with your dad?
Now, it's good. It's actually really good.
Yeah. Because it sounds like he's just right there in your corner.
He is. He's 100% on the team.
When you were talking about that, the pastor in me was like, oh, what a lovely sermon illustration about the prodigal son and the father waiting at the window. But it sounds like he was.
No, here's, example of what a wingman really is. Somebody says, I got your six. Okay. Mm-hmm. This to me is 100% in practice and theory. This is it. Okay. In my short time in recovery now, I now have a driver's license. Like, I have an ID, I have a driver's license, I have a social security card. I do not have any warrants. for my arrest right now. You know, like
I like how you say right now.
right now. Well, you know, that's a habit because, you know, every time I got out of jail, I could go, I don't have any warrants right now.
Yeah.
So, but now I don't have any warrants, and as long as I just keep paying them, I won't have any warrants.
Right.
To be able to say that they're not actively looking for me,
Excellent.
and I can drive legally. But there was a moment here where I was clean, sober, doing all the right things, where I was in the process of waiting to get my license back.
Mm-hmm.
However, there were some things that needed done. So we had to take some rather large pontoons up to the lake to put them on my dad's houseboat. There was a 48-foot flatbed truck, you know, semi-truck and trailer that needed to get there.
Yeah, I have a CDL.
And I didn't.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't even think of you, otherwise I would have been like, Mark, you want to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. But
I'm always up for a road trip.
so I'm driving this, and my dad, he's not a truck driver. Like, he's never really driven a truck. He's like, you drive that? I'm like, yeah, I can drive that. You know, I can drive. I've driven shit without wheels, okay? Like, I can drive anything. We're driving up there, and I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't have a license right now if I would have gotten caught doing this thing without a license at all.
Right.
You know, my dad said, you know what, I got you 6, man. And we're driving up there, and sure enough, now it's just before dawn. The trailer lights had stopped working. So now I've got this, I'm driving without a CDL, but I've got no lights on my trailer. There's a bunch of things that just aren't really.
They have rules.
There are rules, I guess it turns out, and I didn't know the lights were gone at this point. So the lights had quit working, and Dad's following me in his truck in a just a 1-ton pickup, and a cop goes from I'm in the far right lane, goes from the left lane all the way across 3 lanes because he's taking this exit, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he goes between my dad and I. All right, and as he's doing that, he hits the off ramp, and my dad sees him kind of look over and realize that there's one mud flap missing. There's no lights on the trailer, and the cop starts to move back over to get behind me. My dad slams the door on him, just accelerates and snuggles up right behind the truck, right behind me, because my dad gets pulled over. He's 70, like he's and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Meanwhile, I'm down the road, you know what I mean? So
things are good with your dad.
So when somebody says I got your back, prove it. My dad has proved it.
Yeah,
like that is a road dog. Okay, these are the people that will go. I'm not talking about taking a charge for somebody because you want some dope. That's not a road dog. Mm-hmm. That's a desperate drug addict. Yeah. That's the kind of relationship that I have with my dad. And it's the shit that I would do for him. My dad, my mom, my sister, my brother. You, Mark. Actually, yes, I would do some shit like that for you.
Okay, well, next time I have a flatbed that is not in code compliance,
you'll let me drive without a CDL? That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think normally I've been ending it by saying, this is new beginnings and we're all just walking each other home. But I guess new beginnings and we're driving each other home.
Driving each other. And I've actually, the meetings that I go to, my NA meetings and such that I go to, I've actually started saying, hey, let's be nice, be kind, man. We're just walking each other home. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah, you know what, man?
It's a good word.
It is. It's good. I love you, Maquette. I love your kids. Not that sounds really weird, but now you know what?
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean. So glad I met you. I love you guys.
You are a nice guy. I heard that.
I am genuinely a nice guy. I've done some genuinely unnice guy things, but I am genuinely a nice guy. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.